Wow. I am so grateful to be here. And I'm grateful because this is a room filled with people who care about leading, about how you're showing up, and about the impact that you're making in the world. And that's exactly why I'm here today. I love that Tanya just spoke because she's done Culture Index with me and my team. And what I'm going to talk about next is going to make great sense after she just helped you understand yourselves better. A few years ago, a client of mine told me, "You've got to meet Jay." And they asked me to meet with Jay, and we had a virtual meeting. And on our Zoom call, I said to Jay, "What are you excited about? What's bringing you alive?" And I will tell you, he took me in the most unexpected direction, where we shared stories of our personal transformation and up-leveling our own consciousness. And that's why I was here 2 years ago and why I'm back today. So thank you, Jay. I wanted to start today by describing a turning point for a client. This was an incredibly successful businessman. He and his partner had just sold their business for an astronomical figure that they could not have even fathomed when he started. And he came to me and he kind of secretly confessed, "Is this all there is? Like, I thought there'd be more." And he had this whisper of an idea and was wondering, could he be the visionary for a franchising business idea that he had and bring on an operator to build the business for him? And he wanted to do this for a couple of reasons. He wanted to make the world a better place by changing the lives of these franchisees, and he wanted to do it while still having time to coach his boys' Little League teams. Ryan Zink and I worked together for a period of a few years. First, just taking that whisper of an idea and turning it into a business, creating the strategic plan, bringing on his brand president, his team, doing strategic planning, and he's gone on to sell Franchise Fastlane and has launched the next business, Franchise Sidekick. And the truth is, the number one thing I hear from so many successful leaders is this question of, "I thought there'd be more." Science points out what many high achievers overlook, that happiness isn't the result of success, it's the driver of it. When you elevate your well-being, you align your genius and purpose, and you have deeply meaningful relationships, success can become effortless. So I'm going to invite you to participate. You guys are going to find out that I'm a dynamic duo coach. I want to have insights along with action. So I'm going to invite you here in the room and at home to visualize your ideal future. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and if you're not a close your eyes kind of person, just look down at your paper. And I want you to imagine, and after this great conversation with Helen and some of the friends here up in front, instead of 3 years from now, I'm going to have you imagine it's tomorrow morning. And you wake up, and all of a sudden, you have this ideal life. I see some of you with your eyes closed. Thank you so much. Your life, instead of stress, you have clarity. Instead of burnout, you're energized. You're excited for what you're doing. And I want you to notice what is different. Is it the same job? Is it different? Is it the same people around you at home and at work? And if it's different, what does it look like and feel like? Your ideal life, you're making a difference, you're fulfilled and energized. really grasp onto that. And I want you to consider for a moment what would need to change for that to be true. And you can take a couple notes now. You can open your eyes. Thank you for trying this out. This is an appreciative inquiry exercise. And I want you to take a few notes, because next we are going to move into an audience participation moment. So if you're at home and you agree this is something you want to create that ideal life, you're going to put yes in the chat, and I hope it is blowing up, Toot. And if you're in the room, I want you to stand up. If that life we just imagined is something you want to create for yourself, don't all jump up at once. I want you to stand up. There you go. Thank you. If that's a life you want, stand up. I really want to see, how does that feel? Is it something you want to create? Okay, look around. Whoever's got the video, show this. Almost everyone is standing. All right. If you're already living that ideal life, please sit down, because some of you may be doing this. Jay Wilkinson might be a person who would be sitting down. All right. Some of you have, but most of us are still standing. So I want you to know that today, my talk, and really the whole day, is about inspiring you to believe that this is possible, and of course, to take action. Oh man, I love you guys. Thank you. You can sit down. Yay, people stood up. I was a little worried about that. So I'm going to take you a little deeper into the science behind happiness. Because the dominant narrative of the American dream has been work hard, sacrifice, make enough money, provide for your family better than your parents provided for you, and then after you've done all of that, you could be happy. Okay, I actually think that's a load of crap. Total baloney. Thank you very much. The truth is, and what research tells us, is that happiness is based on our genetic set point. 50% is based on how you're wired. Your parents, I see it in my parents, who I adore and love, and my grandma. I'm wired to worry. Okay, I come by that naturally. Believe it or not, only 10% of our happiness is based on circumstances. So the truth is, if the house is burning down, it's impacting you. But the rest of the time, all the things we tell ourselves about, get the best job, make $1 million or $1 billion or $100 million, lose a job, have a breakup. The truth is, we're more resilient than we think. And of course, what I'm obsessed with, the part I'm most excited about, is the 40% that's left, which is our choice, our intentional behavior, and how we think. So today, I'm here to tell you, happiness is a choice. Neuroscience tells us a little bit more about fuels a meaningful life. It tells us that personal growth, contributing, making a difference in helping others, and having deep, fulfilling friends, family, and collegial relationships is what gives us deeper meaning and purpose in life. So for those of you who are standing just a few minutes ago and put yes in the chat, I was there a decade ago. I was feeling a little trapped. I call it the excellence plateau, where you're a little bored and a little burnt out. So today, I want to help guide you through what I did myself, which was search for deeper meaning and fulfillment. There's a great documentary called Happy. You can find it on Amazon now, that gives us a few more nuggets about happiness. Flow is connected to happiness. It happens in community, and gratitude helps us feel more happiness in our lives. Most leaders are just surviving. They aren't thriving. Again, remember that number one question leaders come and ask me is this all there is? and they're exhausted. And they've sacrificed relationships with their family, with their children, with their team, and they're disconnected from their higher calling. Let's explore this achievement paradox and how to fix it. The traditional cost of achievement actually has a lot of sacrifice. Burnout's at an all-time high. Relationships have been damaged because of emotional intelligence and lack of it. The most successful leaders have the most pressure, and they feel incredibly alone. The world is desperate for conscious, awakened leaders who aren't just playing the game of being successful, but who are actually reshaping it. Leadership starts here, in rooms and with movements like this today. Companies that aren't embracing conscious leadership are already falling behind. This isn't about feeling better, it's about leading better. So if you're in this room and you're watching the live stream, you're here because you want to be part of this new era and transformation of leadership. And I applaud you. So I want to share with you today my solution. It's called the Happy Success Formula, and I'm writing a book on this. And it's based on all the positive psychology and neuroscience I can get my hands on, broken down into 3 aspects and 9 dimensions. Beginning with self-expansion. And the components of self-expansion are well-being, growth mindset, and connection. Consciousness expansion. The second area is genius and purpose. And the components of that, the dimensions of that, is working in alignment from what you love and are great at, deeply connected to your purpose, making the impact, the legacy that you want to make. And finally, the third aspect of happy success is intelligent connection. Personal and professional relationships steeped in emotional intelligence. Happy success isn't about being cute or Pollyanna-ish. It's about deep meaning, fulfillment, and joy. It's about conscious leadership and expanding into a new level of leaders who are going to change the world. So I want to give you a little taster of a couple of these, and we'll go a little bit deeper in genius and purpose. Self-expansion begins with reconnecting to your authentic self and embracing personal growth. Because when you're mentally sharp, energized, and you are excited about what you're doing and spiritually connected, success isn't just sustainable, it's deeply satisfying and fulfilling. Part of this is growth mindset. And I have to tell you, last week I looked up the do more good mindsets, and I'm like, dang, this is spot on because it aligns so beautifully. Self-expansion is the engine of a growth-oriented mindset because real growth doesn't happen in business strategies. It happens in the leaders who drive them. When individuals commit to their own self-expansion, they create organizations that don't just grow. They set the pace for the future. You're going to see spots where we're not going to have audience participation, but I'm doing that to inspire you. At the end of this talk, I have a gift. I created it just for this audience. It is a companion executive journal and the Happy Success Gauge, where you can score yourself and see how you're doing. And those of you who are still standing will get some inspiration and action items for how to create more happy success in your life. And the one thing that Jay asked us all to do could be this, that you download it. So I'll share it with you in a little bit. I want to go deeper into genius and purpose, because most leaders are stuck really being comfortable. They're not thriving. They're on that excellence plateau that I was talking about. In my first career, I was there, not really living in a way where I felt vibrantly alive. The alignment between genius and purpose is where your natural talents, highest contribution, and joy intersect. That's where it becomes so effortless success instead of that uphill climb. So I felt trapped. I was doing something I believed in, making a difference in a small, quiet way as a mental health therapist and an entrepreneur. But I wasn't actually doing something I was filled with joy doing, and I didn't feel like I was making as big of an impact as I wanted to. And as things work, I ended up launching about a decade ago my executive coaching company, and now I get to lead my clients through this shift, which is a deep privilege and honor. When we align our natural talents with a mission that feels deeply meaningful, we transwork from obligation into unstoppable momentum. Genius and purpose is the fuel that powers the purpose-driven mindset. It ensures businesses aren't just checking boxes. In fact, they're building movements, attracting teams and customers who are inspired to be a part of something bigger. All right, I want you to think about your past week. Here's audience participation. Get ready. At home, you're going to get ready for this as well. What percentage of the last week, you could do last week if you want to, did you spend doing what you love, were great at? You felt effortless success. You were in flow where your work was connected to your higher calling, and you felt like you were creating that lasting impact you wanted to. So write down a number, 0 to 100%. And do it quick because, right, we only have so many minutes. All right. And at home, put your numbers in the chat. I want to see all those numbers when I watch the feed tomorrow. All right. So I want you to, did everybody do it? Give me a thumbs up. All right. Great. Everybody get a number down. No cheating. I would like you to raise your hand if the number you wrote on your paper is 80% or higher. Let's see it. Oh, dang. We've got some people who rose their hands up. That's great. This is a beautiful place for that. Would you raise your hand if you were 51 to 79%? 51 to 79. Okay. A lot of people are there. And finally, less than 50, be vulnerable, be real. Ooh, okay. The ideal is to be 80 to 100% in this place. So I'm going to encourage you again, when we get to it, download the journal. It'll give you some great insights and inspiration for action. Intelligent connection matters because we're in an epidemic of loneliness. We're living through screens. Modern relationships lack depth. We don't just get to see our teams down the hall because we're all over the world on Zoom or Teams. We aren't with each other. Our nation is more polarized than ever. And relationships are damaged because of lack of social emotional intelligence. The truth is, too many leaders are operating in isolation, worried about outcomes instead of nurturing the human relationships that drive trust, innovation, and loyalty. If we don't prioritize what really matters, without connecting to our family, to our loved ones, to our teams, life in leadership can be incredibly unfulfilling. I like to think of emotional intelligence in this way: self-awareness, self-regulation, awareness of others, and inspiring others. Nobody wants to be managed anymore. That's archaic. They want to be led. This is connected to another do more good mindset. At its core, intelligent connection is the key to making people first. More than just a philosophy, but making it real. So now is where the rubber hits the road. What does happy success mean for you? And where does your ultimate integration begin? What's your first step? Jay challenged all of us to do a one thing, and I think he said, write it on page 76, if I remember right. It's your chance to say, what's the one thing you're willing to do? And you can scan the QR code to get this executive journal, and please do that. I worked so hard to create it for you, and I think it will give you great value. You have a choice. You can walk out today, go back to business as usual, ignore the news and hope things get better. Or you can make a choice that for you today, success is no longer going to be a grind. That you are actually going to show up differently. Because in this new era, the leaders who integrate everything we're talking about today are the ones who are going to change the world. And the world is desperate for that conscious leadership. We're at a tipping point. Burnout's at an all-time high. Leaders are exhausted. People are stressed, and they need this light. Today isn't just about leadership. It's about your leadership. And what are you willing to do? So I'm going to invite people to write down what you're willing to do. And I want to get some shares from the audience. And I really want participation. We've just got a couple minutes for it. But I would love to hear commitments and takeaways. So please raise your hand, and I want you to holler loudly, what are you willing to do? And don't worry, I'm going to call on you if you don't raise your hand. So who will volunteer? Let's hear it. Something you're willing to do, a commitment. If you're at home, put it in the chat so you guys can enjoy this as well. You know what, Helen? I'm going to call on you. A commitment. What's something you're willing to do different?
I'm going to do that journal.
Oh, dang. She's going to do the journal. Somebody else, something different. Let's hear it. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. One more thing. Actually, I want two more. Yes.
I'm going to follow my intuition.
Ooh. A little mystic magic. She's going to follow her intuition. Great. Russell. Oh, he's stretching, but I called on him.
I was also stretching. I'm going to follow this from Tanya.
Brilliant. He's going to use Tanya's suggestions from the Culture Index. We have time for one more. Anybody else just dying to get your voice heard? Yes.
I want to acknowledge more gratitude at the end of the workday. When you said like the thing about workday, sometimes I separate that from
Yeah.
the day.
Great. Great. So if you couldn't hear that, he said more gratitude at the end of the workday. I got a great newsletter yesterday from one of my great close friends in Canada. And he says, the title, "The world's a shit show, but my toast was perfect." And I thought, right? The gratitude in the small things. So not just for me, my cup of coffee, for you at work. Yes, I love it. So today, I'm a slide behind. Oh, sorry about that. So today, and as we close, I want to say thank you. Thank you to Jay, to Graham, to Garrett, to Cohagen, who took such good care of me, getting me ready for today. But most importantly, to you, because you're the ones who showed up. And it's you who are going to do the work every day to create more meaning and fulfillment, caring about each other and caring about our world that is going to transform how we exist. It's been such an honor. Thank you so much.